top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Know the top stories of the day. Understand the issues that matter. This is Manila Bulletin News on Web. Your quick rundown of top news in the country and around the world. Manila Bulletin, celebrating 120 years of timely stories and timeless truths. Be fully informed. Hi, I'm Barbie Atienza. This is MB Now, and here are your news on web. 2 out of 5 Filipinos are expecting the economy to worsen in the next 12 months due to the COVID-19 pandemic, according to the latest survey of the Social Weather Station. But Malacanang remains optimistic about the country's economy. According to presidential spokesperson Harry Roque, the Philippines has already hit bottom, and the only way to go for the country is up. Our Malacanang correspondent Argel Heducos has this report.
Malacanang urged the public to cooperate with the government in order to revitalize the economy, saying the Philippines has already hit rock bottom and the only way to go for the country is up. Presidential spokesman Harry Roque made the statement after a recent social weather station survey showed that 2 out of 5 Filipinos, or around 40%, are expecting the economy to worsen in the next 12 months due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The said figure is also the highest in over 12 years since the 52% recorded in June 2008. In his Thursday presser, Roque said the palace understands the public sentiment but assures them that the country has already experienced the worst.
Maglulunsad po tayo ng bagong communication plan na, gaya na aking nasabi, yung ingat buhay para sa hanap buhay. Dahil ang tanging pamamaraan lang po para tayo po ay makabangon muli ay sa paghahanap buhay at pagbubukas ng ekonomiya. So, naintindihan po natin kung bakit pessimistic ang ating mga kababayan. Pero, ang sinasabi naman po ng mga economic managers, we have hit rock bottom and the only way to go is up.
According to the palace official, the public should work together in order to revitalize the economy. He, however, reminded them to still follow health protocols.
So, kapit-bisig po tayo, hanap buhay po tayo lahat, bubuksan po natin ang ekonomiya, nandiyan pa rin po si COVID, pero kaya po natin pag-ingatan ang ating mga sarili at sama-sama po tayong babangon muli.
Based on the said SWS National Mobile Phone Survey conducted from July 3 to 6, 24% of Filipinos expect the economy to stay the same, while 30% expect it to improve. The Philippine Statistics Authority reported in August that the country has fallen into recession, the first time in almost 30 years, as the second quarter gross domestic product was recorded at negative 16.5%. For MB Now, this is Argel Heducos reporting.
Eastern Samar Representative Maria Fea Bunda has sought the passage of a bill seeking to grant monthly internet allowance for public school teachers. Abunda filed House Bill number 7285, or the proposed Teachers Utility Allowance Act, which seeks to grant the country's honored teachers an extra means to facilitate their teaching. This would also encourage them to effectively hold classes without the additional burden of procuring from their own personal funds to use as an expense for stable internet connection. The bill seeks to grant monthly internet allowance for public school teachers in addition to their salary and other allowances. The bill tasks the Secretary of Department of Education to immediately include in its program the implementation of the proposed act, the funding of which shall be included in the annual General Appropriations Act. Presidential spokesman Harry Roque still respects the wisdom of President Duterte's decision to pardon U.S. Marine Joseph Scott Pemberton. Roque, who served as former legal counsel of the family of Jennifer Laude, said he still agrees with the president's policies and will continue to serve the nation. Our Malacanang senior correspondent Jen Cabiling has the details.
Presidential spokesman Harry Roque has bowed to President Duterte's decision to pardon U.S. Marine Joseph Scott Pemberton, saying he respects the wisdom of the chief executive. Roque, who served as former legal counsel of the family of Jennifer Laude in the homicide case against Pemberton, said he still agrees with the president's policies and will continue to serve the nation. The palace official earlier deplored the local court's decision on the early release of Pemberton due to good behavior, saying it was a travesty of justice.
So sa akin po, I'm not surprised dahil panahon ng pandemic at alam ko po ang emphasis ng ating presidente ay makakuha ng vaccine para sa mga Pilipino. At sa akin po, bagamat tayo po ang tumayong abogado ng pamilyang Laude, kung ang ibig sabihin naman yan lahat ng Pilipino ay magkakaroon ng vaccine, kung mga Amerikano makadevelop, wala po akong problema dyan.
Despite the pardon given to Pemberton, Roque maintained that the government is still determined to nullify the country's visiting forces agreement with the United States. The military agreement, signed in 1998, governs the conduct of American troops visiting the country.
Hindi po nagbabago paninindigan ko na talagang yung pagkamatay ni Jennifer Laude noong 2014 ay symbolic na pagkamatay na ating superyente. At nagkakaisa po kami ni Presidente, kaya naman ang desisyon ng Presidente, i-terminate na po ang Visiting Forces Agreement. Panandalian lang pong na-suspend yung termination pero hindi po nagbabago ang desisyon ni Presidente.
On Monday, the President granted pardon to Pemberton after the foreign soldier was supposedly not given fair treatment in terms of the computation of his good conduct time allowance. Duterte said Pemberton should have been given good character presumption since authorities failed to keep record of his behavior while in prison at a facility in Camp Aguinaldo. For MB Now, this is Jen Kabiling reporting.
The Bureau of Corrections said on Thursday that it has started processing the release of United States Marine Lance Corporal Joseph Scott Pemberton. According to BuCor spokesman Gabriel Chaklag, they have received a copy of the absolute pardon granted to Pemberton from the Department of Justice. BuCor has been conducting preparations for the release of Pemberton and was just waiting for the original copy of the pardon. Chaklag earlier mentioned that they will expedite the release of Pemberton but will make no skips in the process. He also said there will be no special treatment for the convicted servicemen. He added that the same process for pardons, paroles, and releases will also apply with Pemberton. They will just be considering all implications of everything that they will do because Pemberton is covered by other agreements. Pemberton, who was convicted of homicide in December 2015 for the killing of transgender Jennifer Laude, was granted absolute pardon by the President on Monday. In Metro News, Pasig to start distribution of tablets to students on next month. COVID-19 cases in Quezon City declining significantly. And Mayor Isko answers the issue of him running for the presidency in 2022. More in this report.
Pasig City Government will start its distribution of educational tablets to public school students on October 1, as announced by Mayor Vico Soto. The mayor said that the high-speed internet connections in the public schools in Pasig are now ready. Soto also said photocopying machines have been delivered to schools for the learners' packets. The Pasig City Government has set aside 1.2 billion pesos from their budget to fund the learning devices for public school students and teachers. There's a significant decline in the number of new coronavirus disease cases in Quezon City for the past 3 weeks, the local government said. According to UP Octa research, the average new daily COVID-19 cases in city has dropped by more than 50%. The research team said this already includes data which are verified and not yet verified by the city's epidemiology and surveillance unit. It added city's reproduction number also dropped for 5 straight weeks, from 1.47 of July 27 to August 2 to 0.9 of August 31 to September 6. RO indicates how contagious an infectious disease is, and its reproduction number, and it tells the average number of people who will also get infected by an infected person. Mayor J. Belmonte welcomed the development considering that during the onset of COVID-19 pandemic in the country, Quezon City was among the cities hardly hit due to its rapidly increasing new numbers of infections. Every politician wants to be president. That is how Manila Mayor Francisco Isko Dumagoso answered the question if he has any intention of running for a higher position in the 2022 elections. In his online interviews with the Foreign Correspondent Association of the Philippines, or FOCAP, Mayor Isko said it is everyone's dream to be the president of the Philippines. It is an honor for a young public servant like him to be considered by the people to lead the highest position in the country. He also believed that presidency is a destiny. Mayor Isko urged the public to remain focused on our battle against COVID-19 pandemic, saying that his focus and top priority for now is to strengthen the city's health sector and providing the needs of his fellow Manileños.
And I think it's quite fair to anybody to dream to be the president. Pero sa akin kasi, akong gusto ko, may pandemya ngayon eh. Hindi ba dapat ang focus naming lahat, kung sino man yung mga nag-aasam dyan sa ibabaw, ang focus tutukan tong pandemya. So, ako, I would rather focus on this. I'm grateful if they are considering me. Thank you. It's an honor. No? Thank you for a young person like me to be considered katulad ng mga tinatanong ninyo. Thank you very much. But for now, let me do my job. I owe it to the people of Manila. I owe them a lot. I'm gonna do my thing, no? The best of my ability to give a better service for the city of Manila.
Here are the top news in other parts of the country. Active cases of African swine fever found in various Pangasinan municipalities. 2.3 billion pesos released for SAP beneficiaries in Iloilo and Bacolod. And DNR in Zamboanga warns poachers and collectors on illegal plant trade. More from this report.
6 municipalities in Pangasinan reported active cases of African swine fever according to provincial government. Assistant Provincial Veterinarian Jovito Tabarejos said the provincial government granted 2.5 million pesos financial assistance to 323 hog owners in Mangaldan, Bugalyon, and Lingayen. They will also turn over financial assistance to other hog owners. The Department of Agriculture compensates a maximum of 20 hogs per owner at 5,000 pesos per hog, while the province compensates 1,000 pesos per head. The Department of Social Welfare and Development has released around 2.3 billion cash aid for beneficiaries of its social amelioration program in Iloilo City, Iloilo Province, and Bacolod City. The DSWD-6 reported on Wednesday that 409,749 beneficiaries benefited from the second tranche of the national government's cash aid for those affected by the impact of the coronavirus disease. Due to various anomalies during the first tranche, the DSWD-6 directly released the cash to beneficiaries via payout at StarPay and Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation. The Department of Environment and Natural Resources in Zamboanga Peninsula warned collectors of wild flora directly from the forest, especially those considered as threatened species, that they need to secure a permit first before making any purchase. According to the DENR, wild flora plant poachers caught gathering wild plants in the forest without a permit are violating Republic Act 9147 or the Wildlife Resources Conservation and Protection Act. It was learned that several wild plant gatherers are collecting wild flora from hillsides and mountains and selling these to plant lovers at a price ranging from 500 pesos to 20,000 pesos each. DENR 9 Executive Director Crisanta Marlene P. Rodriguez has instructed the different DENR 9 field offices to strengthen their surveillance and monitoring of illegal plant trade and strictly impose fines and penalties on the offenders.
In world news, ominous orange sky gives western United States an apocalyptic tint. Brazil could launch Chinese COVID-19 vaccine this year, according to the capital's governor. And 1,000 chairs installed to symbolize COVID-19 deaths in Israel. Let's watch this.
Unprecedented wildfires fueled by strong winds and searing temperatures were raging across a wide swathe of California, Oregon, and Washington on Wednesday. destroying scores of homes and businesses in the western U.S. states and forcing tens of thousands of residents to evacuate. In California, where at least 8 deaths have been reported, National Guard helicopters rescued hundreds of people trapped by the Creek Fire in the Sierra National Forest. In Oregon, Governor Kate Brown declared the fires in the northwestern state to be a once-in-a-generation event. In Washington, State Governor Jay Inslee described the wildfires as unprecedented and heartbreaking. Governor Inslee and Governor Newsom both blamed the effects of the changing climate for the exceptional ferocity of this year's blazes. Clinical trials in Brazil of a Chinese-made vaccine against COVID-19 have shown extremely positive results, and a widespread vaccination campaign could begin as early as December, according to Sao Paulo's governor. Sao Paulo, the epicenter of the coronavirus pandemic in hard-hit Brazil, is one of the 6 states helping to test the so-called CoronaVac vaccine developed by Chinese pharmaceutical firm Sinovac Biotech. Governor João Doria said the vaccine produced an immune response in 98% of recipients over 60 years old, with no adverse side effects reported so far. Sinovac has partnered with the Brazilian Public Health Research Center, the Butantan Institute, to conduct Phase 3 clinical trials of the vaccine, the last step before regulatory approval. Chairs are installed at Tel Aviv's Rabin Square to symbolize the 1,000 coronavirus deaths in Israel. As the government faces harsh criticisms over the crisis, they decided to partially lock down several cities to slow the fast-spreading contagion of the virus. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said educational institutions would be closed with the exception of special education centers and gatherings limited to 10 people in closed spaces and 20 outdoors.
In entertainment, actress Bella Padilla is keeping productive amid the pandemic as she recently shared on YouTube a song called Nighttime, which she claimed is a quarantine song she wrote herself. Padilla said the track perfectly describes what it's like to be in love and then to fall out of love in a quarantine summer. She added that her friend Marion Honor penned the melody.
I said, give me a line. You made me wait, and that's just fine. You looked like it could be a sign. 3 years gone by, do you now lie? Do you now lie? Oh, we speak so much.
Miss Universe 2018 Catriona Gray is back on track, helping those in need in her own little way. The model singer ecstatically announced recently how she was able to collect 1.15 million pesos in cash donations through Mask for All PH. In her Instagram post, she thanked everyone who donated and that the ongoing initiative will provide both livelihood and free masks for the vulnerable sectors of the community. She also added that through the project, they were able to pay wages to 71 women seamstresses and produce more than 19,000 face masks. Last month, Catriona also partnered with Young Focus for the creation of 2 computer centers equipped with social distance dividers, hand washing stations, sanitation equipment, and working computers in a safe learning environment, among others. And in sports, members of the PBA Board of Governors are expected to decide Friday what type of bubble the league will adopt should the season resume next month. PBA Commissioner Willie Marshall will lay down all possible bubble options in a bid to restart the season that was put on hold after just 1 game due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The league plans to resume on October 9 with the Philippine Cup as the only tournament of the 45th season. But the target date will depend on whether the Interagency Task Force agrees on its bubble plans and if relaxed community quarantine regulations are implemented in the selected sites. Marshall earlier in the week said that the PBA bubble could either be the one being implemented by the PBA, NBA, or a different setup being used by the European football leagues. He has previously said that Subic, Clark, Laguna, and even the Smart Araneta Coliseum have signified their intention to host the bubble. Even Dubai expressed its interest to stage the bubble, though that could be difficult in both financial and health aspects. PBA Chairman Ricky Vargas of TNT Catropa earlier said having amenities will be beneficial for the well-being of everyone inside the bubble. NLEX coach Yang Yao also backed Marshall's proposal for a compact schedule as a longer tournament could pose mental health risks for everyone involved. For our feature story, a public high school teacher caught on camera a pillar of lights in his hometown in Basilan. Mark Vincent Wong Lauriaga of the Malamawi National High School was able to photograph pillars of light dropping from the sky while teaching a friend basic